Right. So we are on online, just making sure the community is able to join. If anybody wants to join me online, just give me a hi, hello. I'm just sharing the links here. All right. So let's. All right. I just want to make sure I'm audible, visible. All right. So got it. All right. Welcome to Unlocking Emotional Intelligence Through Your Brain Skills, and we are, dwelling on this skill set called flexibility/adaptability. And the power of adaptability is very, very important in this day and age, especially after pandemic. Um, so, as such, emotional intelligence itself is needed for everybody, irrespective of age, culture, background, any walks of life. So, inside emotional intelligence, it's an ocean by itself. We are deep diving emotional intelligence into, different kinds of brain talents. So, when we talk about your brain, we are essentially indicating the logical and the creative brain and the midbrain as well, because that's where your decision making power, the executive center, prefrontal cortex, anatomically, it is available. So we're going to use the midbrain so that we will be able to take the blend of both the emotional brain data and the logical brain data. So that way, your decision making, your choices will be of qualitative. Now, for you to use your brain skill, somebody could be logically driven, somebody could be emotionally driven, and somebody could be able to take a blend of both the data. So, in order to fill the gap, so if you are a logically driven person, you may want to activate your right brain so that you will have an effective way of for your decision making. It is always important that your emotions actually drive your performance. You take any big goals in life, your biggest goals, for example, as an individual, if you're a student, your bigger goal is to get into a high class job and get your dream salary. Okay, or it could be going for a dream vacation or find that ideal partner and all that. If you are a parent, our highest biggest goal is to make sure we buy a house, own house, and then give a high class education to our kids, and then get them married and settle them and all that. You see, and for business entrepreneur, it is always consistent sales, consistent leads and customers, and successful, profitable business model, right? So, why do we have to do this? If you ask yourself 5 why questions, you will find out that every goal is coming from the root of an emotion. So it could be one emotion which actually drives all your action. But when you are in the journey of working towards your goals, it is important to back up the performance using your logic. It is nice to hear that emotion drives us, for our performance. But is it okay to get swayed by that emotion itself? No, right? We need to be sane in our approach. So it is important to have a backed, it's like have always the facts correct, right? Backed up by facts, by research. It is very important to present yourself effective towards, in your customer, to your clients, or to your customers, or pivoting any business model. It is important to be backed up with that logical data. It is equally important in your personal life as well. So every decision that you're taking, you could be a full-time mom who's watching this, or you could be a career mom, career-oriented person, so who's juggling with the, multiple roles. So don't think that decision making happens only for those people who are at work, who needs to decide on a lot of things because a lot of people are dependent on them. It is also important for a parent, full-time mom, because in our decisions lies the quality of life, and based on the quality of decisions that we are taking, um, in the family people are also dependent on that. So it is important, in our culture, they say, if you educate a woman, entire family gets educated, right? So educating a woman, it's not through the knowledge, what we all know through the education system, but it is about awareness. It is about decision making. It is about those skills that is going to help them in life, right? So that is what is emotional intelligence going to be doing. And we have dealt with flexibility, power of flexibility in the last five, 6 episodes. Today, we're going to be seeing how it is going to help the parents really have that balance to be able to balance out the parenting and work. Okay. On that note, we're going to be I'm just going to share my presentation and we'll see what we got for today. So this is developing a flexible mindset in parenting as well as work, because it is important to learn and adapt those expectations, strategies, using your brain hacks and be able to know how a flexible mindset can help you reduce that stress. Because as a woman, as a mother, we are juggling with multiple roles. We put ourselves in the least priority. That is the reason for all the stress. And not always we can put ourselves, when we are a parent, right? Naturally, we are leading our family, right? Whether it is a toddler in your hands or the family responsibilities, we are a natural leader. On that note, it is important to take care of your self-care as well as so that you will be strong enough to, support your family. Thereby, you can also improve your productivity, right? You may be thinking that, what is there in my, I know all I do is kitchen work and just take care of my baby. Um, what is there to improve my productivity? No, every transaction that you do you like to do it all wrong? And do you like to be effective? Do you like to be saving your time and energy and sometime money so that you can, even though we are not earning, when you're a full-time job at home, we may not have that earning capacity yet, but don't you want to really save your energy, time, effort, and do some little bit of savings so that when it is needed, you are there for your family. So thereby, how much of adaptability do you have in yourself in order to combat the adversities that life throws to us? It could be a small gravity or a bigger problem, but it could be a daily transactions, or it could be sometimes life takes over. So you might have to, based on the stage of life or based on the situation, we might have to handle them. But how are we adaptable towards that? So that is important as a parent. And if you're working, that is even more important, how you're going to take care of all these roles. And trust me, there is nothing called multitasking. It is just that we are organizing ourselves really better so that we are extending our time, bandwidth, efforts, and energy in order to handle a lot of things. It comes with efficiency, but too much of doing that can also be reason for your exhaustion. Okay. So then practical tips to, have your adjustment done, because without compromise, without adjustment, it could be an adjustment of your time or your efforts or some resources or sometime money, in order to have a long-term benefit. It could be benefit of having that long-term relationship, or some amount of work to be done. So you are okay to take that short-term gain to in order to benefit the long-term fructification. So we need to understand where we are going to apply that. Okay, and then insights from a famous personality. We all are aware of the person. So where how can we adapt what they are able to adapt? So what is the power of adaptability they use in their career or in their walks of life? How are they successfully demonstrating that? And what can we learn from them? Okay, so you're going to see all that step by step. And of course, we will start with defining what is it to have a develop, what is it meaning to develop a flexible mindset at all, according to EQ. That is, when we are dealing with brain styles, how does your logical brain approaches and how does your right brain approaches? So if you know exactly the keywords or the way your brain style works, then it is easy for you to adapt. Remember, instead of me telling you, um, you may be watching me, we could be entirely strangers to each other. But somewhere, if I tell you, because we are going to be talking about brain styles and brain capacity. Brain is a common organ which we all have, and we all have two hemispheres of brain, which means one is logical. This is my left side, so logical. This is the right side, so it is creative brain. And there is a midbrain. So in your present brain style, you could be a logically driven or a right brain driven. So when I tell you that, for you to activate the right brain, in order to use the power of adaptability, just activate the right brain using this hack. All you have to do is, if you're a logical brain, just simply apply it to see whether it's working or not. And hacks are supposed to be applied only then you will know whether it is working or not. So these are awareness that you can get as an insight when you watch these episode. And we are officially on 66th episode of Unlocking Emotional Intelligence series, and we are going to be completing 100 episodes very, very soon. So, in order, first of all, I would highly recommend you to subscribe to my YouTube channel in case you haven't already done, so that you will get notified for any future episodes. And you will also be able to watch those previous episodes so that you can connect the dots, because we have spoken about a lot of key brain skills. Started off with resilience. We dwelled the breadth and depth of resilience, like logical resilience, emotional resilience, and resilience for parents, resilience for leaders, for business entrepreneurs, high stake professionals. So similarly, we also dealt with critical thinking, proactivity, problem solving, empathy building, emotional insight, emotional agility. So many key skills that we have seen in depth to it. So I would highly recommend you to connect that, watch that, so that you'll be able to connect the dots. Because when we are talking about adaptability, which is a right brain component, we will still be able to use or need the logical brain component as well. Because no talent, no brain talents, no brain skills can work in isolation. Just because you are having adaptability skills, that doesn't mean you become a superpower. You need to be able to take in other components as well. So it's a combination of elements which is going to help you in success. Okay, we'll see what are those combinations as well. So what is a flexible mindset? The ability to adjust expectations and behaviors to accommodate changing needs and challenges. That is called flexible mindset. For a person, you need to understand there is fixed mindset, there is growth mindset. Now, for fixed mindset people, their brain styles, their patterns, their behaviors is very hardwired. They are fixed. Okay, in their own ways, in their own walks of life, they are fixed. Now the growth mindset people, they are flexible, they are mendable, they are open for learning. Okay, so the growth mindset people will have this tendency of flexible mindset. Now a question is, okay, now I understood that I could be in a fixed mindset person. Can I not grow into a what do you call flexible mindset person? Yes, you can. How? You're going to use these hacks. Okay, the left brain, when you are dealing with you know flexible mindset, you're going to be approaching using your left brain, which will enable you to have a structured planning, time management techniques while adapting and shifting to circumstances. Okay, so this is what your left brain actually enables you. You can't go and, if you're a left brain approach, if you're a left brain driven person, I won't be able to talk to you, or ask you to go and talk to a stranger, or build a rapport and then talk to them about some deep emotions. It's not possible, right? You just cannot connect. Similarly, a right brain driven, a people oriented or a people person, they are very good with people, energy, warmth, and all that. Okay, they want that kind of vibes. If I put them in the process driven exercise, put them in a AI job where they end up only coding and talking with the laptop and interacting, ending up their life only with laptop, they cannot sustain. So it is important to, first of all, be aware of what kind of brain styles you are. So once you have that, you can't resist with your brain. It's very tricky. So the moment you say don't do it, it'll only do that. So we need to understand, first of all, what brain styles, acknowledge the fact, and then be able to fill in the gap. You need to identify your goals, your outcome, what you want. If your outcome is this and your brain style is this, it is working for you, why actually touching it? There's no need for change. In the previous episode, we saw how to, first of all, identify the change and embrace the change. Because it is not just because everybody asking you to change, it doesn't mean that you have to change. Unless and until you are sure that this change will actually help you reach your goals. The goal could be individual, or it could be for your people around you. If you cannot identify the change itself, then the person is ignorant or they lack self-awareness. Okay. So now you see, I have spoken about a lot of element. To use the power of adaptability itself, a lot of things is also needed, right? So when we talk about right brain approach, it's going to help you stay emotionally open and create that, creative in finding solutions which balance family and work needs. Okay. Keywords is staying emotionally open and be creative in finding solutions. You see, all these words are belonging to the right brain. So a person who is able to creatively think, they are the right brain driven, and who is able to be emotionally open, that means their right brain is activated. Okay. So even if you're dominated with logical, you're fascinated only, or when you get convinced only with numbers and that data and figure, but you can still be aware of that emotions happening within you and others, then you are in a midbrain where you're able to take the blend of both. Okay. So that is how you have to assess your brain styles. Now, benefits of your flexible mindset is it's going to reduce your stress. Am I right or not? A person who's fixed mindset. Classic example I always give in my, especially when we are dealing with brain skills is, um, especially with the adaptability skill is when we dealt with pandemic times, just 3-4 years back, when pandemic hit, entire planet suffered. So it is not only one sector of people, one region of people, or one business industries suffered. There's a lot of, it was common problem. So nature taught us how to adapt, correct? People who adapted to the situation, to the health, to the industries, to the technology, they flourished. People who could not adapt, who could not accept the fact, I don't know Zoom, I cannot operate, I don't want to sit near camera, I don't want to operate a laptop, I am not good with this, and I don't want to learn about technology. They are already lost in the game. Because you see how many, sectors like education, even the education happened on Zoom, and important business decisions had happened on Zoom. People did not stop. We were resilient. Human beings are very resilient. We did not stop everything, right? We utilized the work from home option. And after pandemic, the world is not same. It became hybrid model. It's not only the physical retail store or location based industries, right? It is right now, it's a mix of both digital presence and the physical presence. And people who are not ready to, adapt to digital based transactions. For example, in India, the entire nation has gone towards digital payment, UPI. It's a revolution by itself. Imagine even a small scale vendor, like a small cartwheel vendor is using the phone pay. So people who could not adapt, would said, no, I'm scared of using all this and I don't want to do all that. They're already losing their customers. And highly fast paced, highly fast, what do you call, competitive world, people have a lot of options. If you are not there, they're going to find another person. So it is very important to adapt. Otherwise, you're already lost in the game. It is equal. It is the same case for a career student, right? If you cannot adapt to what is the future is going to be, accordingly, you have to choose your majors or academic situations, decisions, then you're already wasting your time and money, resources, everything. It will again take one more learning curve for you. Similarly, for career progression people who are already in the job, who wants to scale up, it is important to align with market, with technology. It is important to forecast. So we need to be able to. The forecasting happens in the creative brain, and the current reality happens in the logical brain. We need to marry both. We need to match both, right? So if you are able to do, if the person who is willing to do has a flexible mindset. And now when a person is doing this way, they are actually reducing their stress because they are okay to accept the fact and just move on. It is what it is. And then they are able to learn and grow. Okay. But a person who's fixed, who's stubborn, they are already stressing themselves out. It's a matter of time they will be in burnout because they might be isolated. They might have a loss of relationship around them, or loss of money, resources, because everybody is moving towards adapting and then moving forward, right? So it is very important to have that so that it will reduce the stress. Now, as a parent, if you cannot be flexible, again, we know how it is on a daily transactions, right? And if you're a juggling mom, it is even more important to have that flexibility in your mindset level itself. So it's going to reduce the stress in you and it will improve the relationship. Fostering that understanding and adaptability in family and working relationships is very, very important. So you are what you are in family and you are what you are here, everywhere is the same. So my mentor always says, you and business is not same. I mean, is not different. You are same. So you need to understand that charity begins at home, and it is our responsibility to develop that emotional intelligence component in us, because adaptability is a subset of emotional intelligence. So not just adaptability, a lot of skills that we have spoken about, it has to start from within us. That is why emotional intelligence always is self-awareness, self-management, and self-direction. Everything starts from us, so that you will be able to teach the same thing with your children. Thereby, improved relationship can happen. And it is going to enhance the productivity as well. So remaining productivity when faced with unexpected challenge is a key for you to indicate that you have a flexible mindset. And then you will be able to solve the problems better, right? When you are flexible, you're willing to see through the problems as it is, and creatively understand finding solutions for it. But a person who's stuck, who has a resistance toward the change itself, and change is constant in life, and it is also important to know that human brain resists changes. Anybody for that matter. It is a common truth. Nobody likes change, right? People who do like changes, they will have their own, if they overdo on it, you'll see what are the consequences. I'm just going to let you know. But usually you may be okay with the change, but people around you need not be okay with the change. So you will have some conflict. How are you able to solve problems is also important. Now, the challenges of flexible mindset. It is very important to be aware that, okay, maybe that is your strength. Right now, you're good at adaptability, but you should also be aware what happens if you overdo on that strength. It could bring inconsistent routines in you, because over flexibility may disrupt the family or work routines, causing confusion. Am I right or not? Suppose you are flexible in, you fix one routine, and you're telling this to your child, okay, this is your routine, bedtime routine, and all that. Then the child comes and say, can I watch TV and sleep tomorrow? And then the tomorrow happen. Okay, you just let her or him or do. And then day after tomorrow also the child will come, because a child is a child. And he said, okay, you can watch only for half an hour. Now, slowly, the routine itself is, um, faded off. So there's a lot of inconsistency. Okay. And second thing is, over adapting can, constantly adjusting may lead to neglecting your own well-being. By accepting the changes too often, it only means that this person is not sure of what they want. There's a lack of clarity, right? And then what happens is, typically the woman prioritize her own self-being, well-being as the last. We all do that, especially after becoming a parent. We put ourselves in the last bucket list. So thereby we are depleting our own energy. And then it causes the boundary issue. Because we are not clear with what we want, we just get swayed by other people's emotions and goals and aspirations, their needs, right? So we allow them to step in our boundary, because we ourselves are not clear what we want. So too much of flexibility can blur the lines between work and family also. Already we don't have clarity. Second thing is, we allow everybody to just take it for granted. And then what is happening is, we are exhausted. They just step on us, and they just take us for a ride, and you get into exhaustion. So naturally you will get into fatigueness, and emotional fatigueness is even more worse, because it will take time for you to bounce back. And the next step is only burnout. Okay. Burnout can happen not only emotionally, physically, mentally, everywhere, energy wise, you are burnt out. And trust me, burnt out is not a good place to bounce back. It will take a hard time for the person to bounce back, because physically itself, the entire body, the cellular level, it is important to bounce back. So even though when you're ready with your mind, your body will not allow. So your emotions actually will manifest in the physical illness. There's a person called Louis Hay who has done this research. So where she has written down, it's called emotional healing. So if you note down from A to Z any illness, so she would have mentioned what is the core emotion behind it. So it is important to take care of your emotions in the initial stage itself, right? Importance in parenting and working. Now, without this flexible mindset, what happens is, parents or professionals may feel overwhelmed, leading to stress and burnout. With flexibility, the smoother transitions between work and parenting, leading to better emotional health and productivity, can happen. Typically, who benefits is, now this episode is for parents who are balancing the demands of work and family life, and then professional also. You are a parent at home, and then you are a professional at career or business, right? Adapting to changing rules and responsibilities is equally important. And entrepreneurs managing a business while raising a family, it is equally important. For entrepreneurs, it's even more important to, they can't escape from the changes. Changes is a constant need for a entrepreneur to take cater, right? There could be a market turn downs or customer dissatisfaction or customer requirements or the technology changes or company policy regulations or government policies and regulations can come in, or it could be sometimes you need to pivot to a different new model or innovate a new product line or open up a new location to handle the need of your products and demands. So there could be so many things happening for an entrepreneur. It is even more important to know and have the power of flexibility. Okay, every transactions in your business. And as an individual, I told you, whether a school student or a career person, they need to know how to individually adapt. Now, let me talk about where are you going to apply this, the power of flexibility. Let's see where we can apply. One, um, okay, hold on. Yeah, there we are. Okay. Flexibility in time management. How can we do that? First is morning. Okay. Let's talk about the morning times. Morning times will be the chaotic, right? Especially when you have children, school going children, and then you are also working, then it will definitely be chaotic. You need to be having structured planning and execution has to be smoother. You just cannot be firefighting every day. Okay, that lead you to burnout. So adjust schedule to complete work projects while managing your school's routine. It is important to have that structured planning. That is where you're bringing your logical brain. And then comes afternoon. You're going to balance that work task with after school activities and homework support. Okay, we're going to include that also. And for, I'm sorry, and for evening, you're going to allocate time for your family dinner, quality time, while addressing urgent work matters as well. So how will you do this? For example, suppose you have a night bedtime routine fixed. It is somewhere saving your energy and the clarity is also there with your child because they know what to expect. Suppose it is not articulated or communicated clearly, then it will be a problem. So you might want to take care of that. Communication is important and also have a structured planning is also important so that your tomorrow morning will be less chaos. And you can also have a to-do list, right? For we all do that as a parent, we all do that, especially my phone is full of notes, okay? And I do a to-do list for every day. So what happens when I wake up in the morning, I exactly know what to do. I'm not going into the research mode when I want to act on it. So that is one resistance that we all have. It is important to break through that. If you can prepare 50% well, really well, you don't end up doing a research work when you have to act on it. Okay? Just imagine this. Even if it is a small thing like you know exactly what is the groceries there and then what you have to cook. Sometimes you don't have an idea. That is where the chaos, the stress will kick in. So it is important to have that planning done. So having structure will give you some breathing. Okay. Then it could be some afternoon session where you're going to have an emotional check-in. Take some deep breathing or trying to understand what are you feeling. You may be feeling jittered, or there could be some contingency plan that you need to work, or you may be feeling okay that you have handled it really well from the morning to afternoon. Acknowledge yourself and be prepared for the rest of the day. Okay, regular check-in can happen, and take a brain break. Maybe take a fresh, walk and take a fresh air. Have brain breaks like puzzles or something which can deviate you from the routine. Very, very important. Don't get into the gadget mode because looking at the gadget is not a brain break. It is actually engaging. It is making the mind even more flooded. Okay. And it is very important to have that night routine for yourself also. Be away from your gadgets 1 hour before your sleep. And it could also be that have some dinner table code of honor because it's the only meal we all get together, right? So make sure that gadgets are not there. Slowly and gradually, you can bring this habit, code of honor. And if you do this during the daytime and during the nighttime, your morning times will be as fresh. So that once you're finishing your routines, you can still have some time to, have that breathing exercises or, do some yoga or something for yourself in the morning, gratitude journaling. So something can work to let you start your day the way you want. So this is called flexibility in time management. So there has to be planning as well as execution. Okay. This is how you can bring in the flexibility, plus also understanding there could be any unexpected changes can happen. You will be able to embrace that change as well in your routines. If you have resistance towards changes while you want to do all this, then you don't have a flexibility. As much as you want to plan and execute, you should also have a buffer to have that changes to happen, so that you will learn from your mistakes. If you have a backup plan, well and good, you can forecast and do it. If you don't have, then you can always make a plan of it, learn from it. Then adapting parenting styles is also important. You should have a hands-on approach, provide close guidance and support to your young children. Gradual independence is important as they grow. A toddler need not be the same toddler when they get into preteen or teenager. They change biologically, physically, mentally, emotionally, also they change. Similarly, we also have to change in our approach. So, encouraging more autonomy as children grow and develop is also important. Turn the discipline, strict discipline, to positive reinforcement. Don't thrust it on them. Instead, create that responsibility attitude in them. And supportive guidance is equally important. Offer advice and emotional support for teenagers and young adults. Very, very important. Adapting parenting style only means, first of all, you need to identify the emotional impact, understand them, and offer that support. Because adapting itself is a right brain component, right? And then if you want, you can fix a routine based on it, that can support your child's growth. And you will also know when, how exactly you can help them. So thereby, you will bring the logical component of giving a structure to it, some clarity to it, and a pathway to it. But before offering the emotional understanding, if you only strictly follow the structure to it or solution to it, it's not going to help, especially when they are growing. Okay. Then flexibility in career transitions is also important. Office-based role, adapting to traditional work environment and schedules, especially after pandemic, we all, just got comfortable working from home, and people will, you know, after 2 or 3 years, they're not ready to have a full-time location-based, travel-based employment. People started seeking the hybrid model, especially women. They want more of a work from home roles. Transition period is very, very important. That is where the adaptability kicks in. So adjusting to work routines and tools during the shift to remote work, during, when we are new to remote work, that is also a change. And for you to go back to the normal mode where you can have a hybrid, but again, you can't have a full compromise on it. There also, there is a change happening. So everywhere there is change happening. It's just that we need to identify the gap. And remote work, especially with remote, full-time remote work, is even more tougher, right? As a digital entrepreneur, I can vouch for it. So, there is a lot of compromises happening. And without a monitor, or without having a dedicated space and timing, sometimes, our own mindset thinks, take it for granted, because it is all the more at home and all that. But when I have to travel down to office, I have a different mindset, because I have to present myself really well, right? And I have to carry myself well. And, going and working with people has its own effect. Okay. All right. Flexible household management as well. So sharing responsibility can give your children a way to adapt in their life. Adapting to changing work schedules by sharing household tasks more evenly with your spouse as well. If you have that understanding, each of the spouse can adapt themselves to shared goals. Okay, that way things can be transitioned very smoothly. And then towards meal planning, adjust meal preparation based on families members, varying schedules and needs. We all do that. Okay, where are we going to? We are already doing that, but sometimes when you are juggling with work, it is important to have a routine in place, so that at the same time communicate the routine to your children. So if that is organized, then it is okay to have a flexibility. Otherwise it becomes too much of, fatigueness. There, decision fatigueness happens especially in meal planning. But if you bring a structure to it, you can save from it. Financial flexibility is also important. Adapting to budget and spending habits to accommodate changing family circumstances is equally more important. Now let's talk about brain hacks. Now that we know where we are going to apply and what is the need of having a flexible mindset, now we'll see, how you can apply using the hacks. The first hack is for your right brain. You're going to have an emotional flexibility developed. Flexibility, that too, emotional flexibility. There is logical flexibility we always, we just saw in terms of how preparation and planning can happen. If you can identify the gap and then you can plan on it, that is going to be your logical brain. But emotional flexibility is also there. Let's see what it is. Now, when a change is happening, for you to embrace a change, you need to stay calm, remain composed during stressful periods at work or home. Okay, it could be a daily, situations, or it could be once in a while. Okay, you're going to adapt responses, adjust emotional reactions based on your children's changing needs and behaviors. That is also, tangibly seen, right? Because they are also growing. And when it comes to family, family is full of dynamics, right? Different people, different age group, needs and wants and all that. It is important to anticipate and have some plan towards it, so that you can also adapt your reactions, because we are also human being, right? Sometimes we also react, but adapting our responses is the power. All right. Then empathizing, understanding and supporting family members and colleagues during challenging times is important for you to have that emotional flexibility. That's a sign if you have an emotional flexibility. And always remember, I've told you, emotional intelligence is not always about others. It is also to do with ourselves. There are two components in emotional intelligence that we are catering to, self and others. What about empathizing to ourselves? That is also emotional flexibility. You are being flexible to your emotions as well. While you're ready to help and support other people around you, you should also be able to help yourself. Otherwise, it is not actually emotional flexibility. So imagine you are not taking care of your boundaries. You are not taking care of your self-care. You're very rigid in that. And now you're going and offering the help and support for others. Well, it can work, but will it not showcase? Sometimes you will get, after a threshold, there's a limit for everything, right? You will frustrate, you will feel frustration, you will show up, right? And people will not know what's happening unless you are able to articulate, hey, look, something really not okay, I need some help. Unless you are able to clearly ask or know, first of all, that you have to take care, and then figure out how to ask for help, or organize your time, so that you know exactly when you're losing your energy or when your time is important and all that. Okay, so empathizing both the side, self and others, is important. And self regulation is also important. You're going to manage your personal emotion to maintain that positive environment at home and work. Suppose you're not taking care of your, the self empathy is not happening. What's happening is you let everybody step on your time, your your way of work and all that, and then you are finishing the home chores because you don't have a voice, nobody is listening and all that. You're okay with full of compromises, and you're coming back to work. Now you may be drained at work, you're not going to be productive. Will it not affect your work environment, your purpose in your work? So it is eventually show up on your work goals. So instead of that, if you can self regulate, if you clearly know that you're losing your energy or you're not happy with something, you put it across, for which you need to be aware of what is happening inside you, and then you should be able to regulate it. Maybe sometimes you don't find an external support, you will have to figure out. You may be going, take a breathing exercise, or figure out the self love techniques, how to regulate your emotions well, so that when you can regulate it, you will be able to help other people also regulate it. You, especially, it is important to help the children learn all the self regulation techniques, and they have to see you demonstrating it. You have to walk the talk. Okay. Then comes prioritizing task. That's your left brain, identifying urgency, determine which task needs immediate attention, and then determine the change. Allocate time accordingly. Remain adaptable. Be willing to adjust priorities, and unexpected situations happens. Then embracing imperfection also is important. Accept that reality. Recognize that not everything has go as planned in parenting. Learn from the mistakes. View imperfection as flaw, and be confident about your flaw. It's okay. Human beings, we do mistakes, when we learn for it from it. The only thing is you should not repeat it. Okay. And then adjust expectations accordingly. Set realistic goals that allows flexibility and occasion setbacks. You're going to create flexible routines, both the brains. Okay. One, creating routines itself is logical brain, but being flexible on routines, sometimes situations can happen, or a child with the same bed routine has grown past that. They may need a different bed routine, or it could be a bedtime routine, or it could be anything else. You should be ready to adapt. As a parent, you should also ready to adapt in your communication style as well, as the child grows. right? So establish the core structure and identify the flexi points where you can creatively find solutions according to the change. If the child is able to accept the routine, then you may want to don't change at all. Similarly, at work, if something is working, you shouldn't touch. But when the change is required, then you should be able to regularly, be flexible about it and have a regular review whether it's working or not. That's how we can identify the gaps. Then setting boundaries, very, 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 very important. With this only you can actually self-regulate. Okay, that's your left brain. You need to find out what is your work boundaries, establish clear work hours, and communicate your availability to your colleagues and your family, everybody. And also establish the family boundaries. Set aside dedicated family time and minimize the work interruptions. You just cannot mix it up, and you just cannot say, oh, you know what, I can handle everything. While I'm talking to you on YouTube live, I cannot handle my child's query. It's not correct also. So at the same time, when I'm handling my child's query, I cannot handle the work calls. It's not fair, right? And then have a flexible adjustment. How? My child, I can communicate to my child and my family, hey, look, these 2, 3 hours, mama needs this time because I need to come online. So the child or family can adjust that particular time. And when I'm with them, I need to be able to communicate the same thing with my work. This is my family time and this is what it is. So that is how you can build harmony towards balancing. Only with balancing, we will lead to exhaustion only because that is perfection and nobody can be perfect. Then emotional openness is also important. That's your right brain. Practicing empathy, understanding and relating the emotions of family members and colleagues. Active listening. How do you do that? Pay attention to the needs and concerns of others without any judgment. You will figure out those keywords that needs your emotional understanding. Then accordingly adapt your communication style. Because one person needs a different way of approach. It'll not be the same, especially when you have a couple of children. It could be different with siblings, right? It could be different with your spouse also. Everybody has different brain styles, right? It is nice to know the brain style because I'm going to give you a link to join a brain styles workshop only for women. That is where you will learn how to identify each other's brain styles. I can't expect everybody to take the report, right? But when you are able to know your brain styles, you'll be able to read the same in others. And it'll be fun to know what kind of brain styles other people have and how do you match their communication. So that you will have the advantage on having an edge over other people. You will have the power of negotiation because you exactly know how their brain works, right? By now, you would have seen my episode, with strategies after strategies, you can clearly know the keywords, how the logical brain works, and then how right brain works, right? You don't have to take the reports as well. But in my workshop, I disclose the AI-driven workshop reports, which will tell you exactly based on the feedback that you give, and AI, gives you the concrete data. Okay, it'll be a wonderful experience. And then you're also going to express feelings. So sharing your emotions openly and honestly with family and co-works is the secret sauce. This is what has helped me, right? As this is again my self-expression. This is a self-empathy. Because if I am not feeling well about something, I just cannot cater, even if it's good, it's going to be my favorite only child, whatever it is. But I also need to put across to my child saying, I need some time off. This is my time and I will recuperate and quickly come back to you. Similarly to your spouse and to your extended family, they need to know exactly what you're feeling through as well because it's a give and take. It's not always your giving, it's actually taking turns, right? That's why we have family. And we're going to teach our kids this because they will not know, right? And then about case study, in the interest of time, I'm just going to skim through. Serena Williams, we all know about her. But the one beautiful thing is, she's so passionate about everything she does. Her sister is a legendary, champion. If you've watched that movie about Serena Williams and Venus Williams, you will know her sister, Serena Williams, had outgrown her elder sister's championship. Not only she's a real champion in the tennis world, she's also passionate about parenting, right? Her motherhood is the most proudest thing that she has acquired apart from the tennis career. So the tennis champion always says balancing successful career with motherhood is very, very important. And her time management skills, extraordinary. Imagine a champion, world champion for a long time demands a huge amount of training every day, day in and day out, whether they like it or not. Look at the amount of resilience they would have got, right? And having a children, I think she's got 2 children, and also she's in business. She's into business venture as well. How is she able to juggle all this with her training schedules and parenting responsibilities? It's always intriguing me. And then what I understood is she's also very good with emotional awareness. She remains emotionally present for her daughter despite demanding career. And she's also, even though she expresses a lot, she does a lot of drama out there in the field, but she has it controlled, right? So if you want to adapt, to that kind of a brain style, the first thing that you can understand is resilience is needed in parenting and work. Adaptability comes with that unexpected changes in both family and work. If you have the resilience in you, you can always bounce back. That is why in my community, I do a 21 days challenge exclusive for women to build a resilience for them. So there's a link given in the description. You will know how moms like you and me, they're also busy. How did they enjoy before how they were, and then during the process and after the process, how they were, you will figure out, and there's a link given in there. I will tell you how you can apply for that, but then it is important to have this resilience. And you can also watch the previous episodes that I've done, from first to 8 episodes that we have done in this series initially about resilience itself. Having that positive attitude is also important, right? Maintaining that optimistic outlook, especially when facing challenges. It is counterintuitive, but it is important. And problem solving, finding creative solutions in balancing parenting and career demands is equally important. And self care. Only then you can bounce back. If you are drained out, there's no bouncing back. And flexibility of remote work, I told you, establishing the workspace and routines, communicating boundaries is equally important. Then your child development. Infancies could be different demands, and during toddlerhood, it could be different. School age is totally different, and teenagers is entirely different. So you need to adapt your communication style and approach. Career advancement, you need to upskill yourself, have the networking skills always on, and so you will figure out when to pivot your career demands, because highly competitive, highly disruptive. AI is taken over, so we need to really pivot. What kind of majors you want to select, what kind of career path you want to select. And flexibility in communication strategies. All you're going to do is actively listen, pay attention to the needs of your family members and colleagues. Okay. Clear expectations. Have communicate that work and family commitments clearly to each of the parties, respective parties, to family about work and to work about family, so that everything is clear and accordingly adaptive. If the work demands at that point of time to complete your project, you might have to, compromise what is happening in your family. So accordingly, vice versa. And then have a regular check-in whether they're okay or not, whether it's working for you or not also. Not always about others, right? It is also about you. Otherwise, if you don't find it, okay, you just have an open conversation, either ways, with your boss or with your family. It definitely works. Then you also have to balance your self-care and responsibilities. Have a me time, specific me time. Take care of yourself. Have some fun within, for yourself. Prioritize your health as well. Have mindfulness practice every day and seek support. Ask for support. Not all women ask for help, right? So we need to break through that resistance and ask for more help. People will understand. So at this point of time, if you have questions like how well do you adapt, and do you even have that power in you to embrace change, and how well do you have a flexible routines, how comfortable are you in setting, adjusting your boundaries? If you have all these questions, I have a tool for you called EQ Quest Bundles. By now, if you've been watching these series, you will know how to grab this offer. All you have to do is write top three insights that you have gained in this episode as comments below. You're getting a 100% free coupon code to access this 100 quiz bundles. It's out there for you, lifetime access. Not only for this episode, you can assess where you are. It's a self, assessment questionnaire. It'll come to you on your email ID only. Then it will not be published to anywhere. You can access that any point of time at any number of times. So this will be a wonderful tool to identify whether you are already there in the power of adaptability or not. If not, you can identify the gap and learn it. Okay. So this can happen. This can be available for you free of cost if you can write top three comments, top three learnings as comments below. I'll figure out that you have commented, and then I'll give you this 100% free coupon code. Otherwise, there are free resources all over the places. If you haven't still subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that. And I'm also doing a podcast for the same series in Spotify. Subscribe to my Spotify, on the fly, on the go. You can listen to the podcast as well. And there's also Substack coming with the articles on emotional intelligence, Instagram and LinkedIn. There are a lot of things can happen, okay, if only you are ready to change. And always remember, changes are, constant in life, okay? Balancing and family work is never easy, okay? That is why I started this series for mom. I dedicated this for busy moms, but it is also important that everybody adaptability question is highly, highly important at this day and age. It is even important for a student as much it is important for a mom or any adult. Okay. So, but with having a flexible mindset, you can always turn all these challenges into growth opportunities. So, have that ability and mindset to embrace that change. Watch how your life and career flourish. I'll see you in another episode. Until such time, strengthen your emotional intelligence by watching these episodes and share it with somebody whom you think it's most needed. Share press that like button, love symbol if you really resonated with this kind of episode. That'll be a great inspiration for me too. I'll see you in the next episode. Okay? Bye-bye.